Hey everybody, Zeal Brothers here once again with another video. This one is about the Kyle Rittenhouse court case, but this one is about the prosecutor. Now our boy Binger, the prosecutor there who was kind of a put-up job. You guys don't know it's a put-up job because the DA of the county is not trying the case himself. So our boy Binger, in making his final arguments, took a gun, and the claim is that he pointed it at the jury itself. Now, when you look at the video and you look at what happened, the media is now fact-checking this claim, right? And when you look at this, and I'm going to put a link of this article in the description because it is a great example of a media that's extremely dishonest. Here are the claims. The claims are that Binger raised his weapon and pointed at the courtroom, and that he broke a lot of safety rules by doing that, by putting his finger on the trigger. And then they rated that as mainly false. And I'm going to give you their reasons why they say it's false. While it is true that Prosecutor Thomas Binger did indeed briefly wield Kyle Rittenhouse's rifle in court, there is no indication that it was aimed at the jury. The audio from the courtroom also confirms that at no point during the demonstration did Binger instruct the jury to produce a guilty verdict. Finally, there is no basis to the claims that the weapon was loaded or unsafe. Nobody credible is claiming that anyway. So here's what they're doing. When they make the claim false, they are making a strong allegation. Even if we accept their arguments, they should say it's uncertain whether it's true or false because they don't know. If you look at all their examination throughout this article, they do that. They talk about the fact that you can't really see where the gun is pointed. If you can't really see where the gun is pointed, how can you then land and say the claim is false? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make a case without making that case. Just because you can't prove it to be true doesn't mean that it is now proven to be false. So when you look at this case and you look at this prosecutor, his finger being on the trigger is itself bad. That's a safety violation. Any gun safety trainer will tell you not to do that. Don't put your finger on the trigger unless you plan to fire. The other thing is he did aim it, and then people did acknowledge this. Even in the article, they acknowledged, they said he aimed it towards the crowd, but it was elevated above them. That's still bad safety. You don't do that with a gun, right? So even if you are aiming below people's feet or you're aiming above people's heads, you don't sweep the gun across them, right? If you do that, if you were a police officer and you swept your gun across another police officer, even if it was way above their head or way below them, another police officer would beat the crap out of you after that scene was done being investigated because they don't appreciate muzzle sweeps, is what they call it. That is a safety violation. And this prosecutor, I won't say that this is something that should upset his case, but it was recklessly stupid. He was doing it to produce a reaction, and he got a reaction to his own stupidity. Now, when you look at this case, the media has done this repeatedly over and over again. One other instance is they will report things that one of the victims, the guy who got his biceps shot off, they will report what he says as fact. When in reality, when you look at the court witness, when you look at when he was actually under oath, he contradicts his own statements multiple times. And what they'll do is they'll report and they'll say, there's an article that I didn't do a video on and I was going to. Paramedic who was at the scene, which is the guy who got shot, who is also a convicted criminal. He at the scene says that Kyle Rittenhouse was an active shooter. And that's the title, and that's all they say, and then the whole article is about that. Forgetting the fact that this guy is biased, he's gotten shot, he aimed a gun at Kyle Rittenhouse when he got shot. So they ignore all those facts and they just post what he says. So when you look at these kind of situations that's going on in the media, what you need to understand is this. The media is trying to create a reaction. They're trying to create a situation where if Kyle Rittenhouse is acquitted, they can claim injustice. And when they claim injustice, they will be fueling violence. Now, what should Christians be doing about this? First off, Christians, you guys got to have the facts. You need to look into the facts. The second thing is Christians of all people need to be looking to the inner truth of something. Use the discernment that God has given you. You know, media people have agendas. You know, the left has an agenda. And as Christians, you ought not be buying into all that crap. That should be the first thing you should do, is try to see through people's agendas. The scripture says all men are liars. That's just a dang fact. So when you know all men are liars and all men are deceptive, don't take everything they say at face value. A lot of Christians think that they have a duty because they're Christians to be naive. Don't. Be skeptical. Even be cynical. Do not trust people, because we know the nature of man is evil. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Guess what that means? Everybody can do wrong. Everybody can lie. Everybody can deceive. And if you know that, don't trust things that you don't know for sure. So I say that to a mainly Christian audience, to be skeptical, especially of situations like this, where every mistake that the media makes is always leaning to one side. It'd be different if they made mistakes and you could call it fairly even. Like a referee might make a call, a bad call, this team a bad call that way. But if the referee makes 12 bad calls and they all against one team, you need to watch that referee, because somebody is either paying that guy or he is biased.